Tesla's locked in. I've been watching this for several days, and I think we are on the verge of a breakout, and there could potentially be a great debit spread strategy trade where we could potentially target 116% on a very small move in the next several days. So it's really not going to have to move anywhere. What's going on, guys? My name is Ben from 5 Minute Trades. I actually have a really solid plan for this. Obviously, this is not financial advice. This is just for educational purposes. But I really like this particular setup right now here on Tesla. So right now we're chilling in pre-market at 398. So you can see that right here at 398 we are at, and there is a really solid trend line break that I am watching here. So this is actually broke, and what it did is it actually hooked back, and I love that setup. Whenever it breaks and hooks back, that's actually a good sign, because it is, it's leveling off before the next move. So we were actually right here in pre-market in this particular zone. So that's actually a really good sign as well. If we can hold this, this could be a potential really good setup. So what am I using? What did I actually use to find this? Well, the first thing I did is I used this trend line. So I actually drew this trend line. I actually had this drawn all the way back here. So when we're actually probably like right around this area, right around these zones. I was wondering, hey, is there a potential a move for where would I be interested in an upside move? Well, I drew this and I said, if it breaks this, I'll be looking for a possible move to the upside. So we're actually with this tool, so you can actually see this. This is the gravity zone. And what it does is it builds this particular zone right here. I actually built this on TradingView. You can grab it in the description if you're interested. But essentially, it builds this nice little volume profile automatically here on TradingView, and gives you a buy up here. So if it breaks above that, or a sell below. So what I actually found, and what my students have actually found and is using this for, is we're trading it inside the gravity zone as well. And so it's actually a really solid plan to trade inside the gravity zone. So what is an actual zone like this? Well, essentially this is a big volume node. And so what is that? Well, there's a ton of volume in this particular area. And so when all that volume is collected, you can actually see it on the chart right here. And this is a critical zone because there's a lot of buyers and there's a lot of sellers. So what ends up happening is price likes to chop around in here. Now, in this particular trade that I'm going to share with you today, this is actually a good thing, because we really only need about 1% or about 2% to lock in. It's 116%. So how great is that? 116% on just a small move. Honestly, if Tesla does this for the rest of June, we would lock in that trade. So what is it? Well, the first thing I'm going to do, I do want to cover where this could potentially go in the next several days. So what I like about this, these breakouts could be very explosive. We've already seen this big up move. The S&P 500 has just been on an absolute tear right now. So what I expect to happen here is we could still see a little bit of side. We're actually right here, so it could see us a little more sideways before we get that explosive move. Now, where would we target? Somewhere up here around 460. That's where I would say it could actually go. Now, here is the kicker. Here is the important part, is we do have earnings in a few days. So this could get, earnings could go one way or another. You see last earnings, it didn't really move all too much, but sometimes earnings could be a little bit, wild. See that big gap down right there. There could be a big gap up. But with this particular setup and with where the market's currently is right now, this could be a major move up. And then if we get that on earnings and it just goes sideways, this would literally be a lock for a really good trade for this particular debit spread. So what is it? So the debit spread that I'm targeting, let's go over to our options strat. And so this is a great tool. And I highly recommend you guys use it. You can see all of these particular options trades that you can actually create. And so the particular one that I am interested in would be a 390 and 395 call. And what's great about this is it's only going to have to be at 395 in June 18th, by June 18th, to gain that 117%. So that's 117% gain, which is actually so if you get one of these, that'd be $270. So it's only going to cost you around 230 right now, give or take. It just depends on, what these prices will be. It'll probably end up kicking in and it'll actually be a little bit higher than that. So either way, it's not going to be a very big move it's going to have to do. And this is going to be a lock if this continues to just trickle on up there. So really, you don't need a big move for this trade. So why don't you need a big move for a debit spread? Well, a debit spread is just two particular options that you are it's essentially, it's called a vertical spread. It has limited risk and reward, and basically what it's doing is combining a long and it's combining a short call, which caps the upside, but it also caps downside. So essentially the goal is to be above the strike B at expiration. So the strike B will be the higher one, and then the strategy is almost neutral in change in volatility. So the time decay is helpful, and it does not actually hurt you in any way. So that is the bull call spread. That is what makes it so effective. Is there is not you don't need, it's not just a regular call option where you need that strong move to the upside, right? You don't need that strong move to the upside for a call or a strong move to the downside for a put almost immediately. Now, if you do a longer dated call or put option, you don't even necessarily need that, but they are going to cost you a good amount. This is relatively cheap. It's only $230, and this could be a major move to the upside. So I like this trade. What do you guys think? You think this Tesla trade could explode to the upside on this trend line break? Tesla likes to do these trend line breaks and just continue on up. You can see this in the past where something like this, a nice little trend line break, it actually broke out, came back in, and then went up. And there's several other examples as well. This is a nice little wedge pattern. What I like about Tesla is it does it likes to make these common price action patterns that we all know and love. And then, it makes these big moves to the upside or the downside. Here's another nice. Now, again, just because something happened in the past doesn't mean it's going to happen again. So obviously you have to reiterate that. But Tesla is notorious for these beautiful breakouts. Look at this breakout to the downside, chill, came back in, break to the upside. So I think we're in for one of those particular breakouts where we won't, or where we will see it break into this, continue to trade inside this gravity zone, and could potentially come up here in the 460 range, especially if the S&P 500 continues to dominate. I believe the S&P 500 is going to have a pause here, and that's why I think this is just such an interesting trade. Not only because it's in the zone, but I believe it could go into this zone and then stay in this zone for a relatively long period of time. So that's the trade. We used the gravity zone with this. So if you're interested, like I said, there will be a link in the description. This is a great tool. I also have the magnet zone here as well. So this is actually what you see with these lines right here. Basically, it just draws support resistance as well. I'll have a link for that as well if you're interested. Essentially, what it does is it gives us a breakout sell. So this was a nice breakout sell right here. We actually saw two trade ideas here. So this was actually this was the magnet zone and the gravity zone. Both broke out right here. The gravity gives you a beautiful little teal candle. And so the last one was right here. It almost broke out of there. And then the last one was right here, which is a nice breakout to the downside. So it just kind of shows you breakouts, both upside and downside. But it also, which is, again, what I'm really enjoying doing is trading inside these zones, because when price gets in here, it likes to stay in here. It's comfortable, right? It's comfy in these zones. And that's why I think that this particular idea could be a really solid trade here. So what do you guys think? You think this debit spread is a good idea? It's a bad idea? We really only need to move. Really what you have to look out for is basically the hurdle would be the earnings, right? Tesla earnings, because, Tesla earnings could go either way. But I think just with the strong marker, even if it does, let's just say it gaps down, right? Let's just say it gaps down. We have a really solid floor here, and we'd only need to come back up into this zone here by June. Was it June 18th? I think was what it was. So it really would only still need to be right there. So I mean, I still think there could be a lot of potential. Let me see. Yeah, June 18th. So I mean, it still would only need to go up. If we come down here, 15. I mean, I guess that is a big jump. So that really would be the only thing that you would have to watch out for, because you would not want it to. Essentially, you want it to go sideways up here, not down here. But there is at least there is a good floor here. So if it does jump down, it could potentially jump right back up, kind of like that V shape that we got here. But I believe that instead of doing that, it's there's enough support here. There's enough support here that I think it could just do something like that as well. So good. So potentially a great trade here. We're going to be targeting that 117% or so. We'll see what it actually costs. I actually haven't even grabbed this yet, but it'll be around. It'll probably be around 100 to 117% for this particular trade. Very cheap and could be a very effective way to get in Tesla here without a ton of risk. All right, guys, that's it for me for today's video. If you enjoyed it, give it a quick little thumbs up. And if this was, hopefully I explained it enough, let me know in the comments. Let me know if you enjoyed this, and I'll continue to do videos like this.